In this lesson, we're going to take the time to review conditional operators and how we use them in Java. So go ahead and get the project Conditional Operators loaded up into your Eclipse IDE if you'd like to work along with me on this project. Once again, here we'll note that we have 4 classes: runner, swimmer, utilities, and conditional operators. This time we've added just a little bit more to the runner and swimmer class, where now we'll have a string name, and once again we'll add mutators and accessors to get and set that property, and then we'll use it in the toString method, get the name of the actual runner, and everything else is the same as before, where we have our perform sport, and we have our get and set ID and our race ID. Swimmer's the same way. We have race ID and name, and we have the explicit constructor on swimmer modified now to take in the ID and the name. We have the mutators and accessors for both race ID and name, the perform sport, which returns swimming, and our toString, which is modified to get the name, the race ID, and performer sport. Now in utilities, null safe equals, we're actually going to do a little bit of a change to the code here so that we can look at our conditional operators. So here what we see is that when we work with conditional operators in Java, we have the if and else block. And then of course we could also add in an else if we so desired, which would give us the ability to do another conditional check if that possibility existed. Now here of course with only 2 possibilities, either being null or not null, there's no need for an else if. So if 1 is equal to null, and again we use the double equals so that we get a comparison operator for the objects, not just an assignment operator, we'll return the value of 2 equals null. So if 1 is equal to null and 2 is equal to null, return true. Otherwise, if 1 is not equal to null, return 1.equals 2. So we'll rely on the declaration of the equals method within the objects we're comparing to determine the equality. And so here, if 1 is equal to 2, we'll return true, otherwise return false. But that's our basic conditional operator inside of our null safe equals class. And so in our conditional operators class here, what we have is our runner with a name and ID. We'll leave the name null so that we can see some comparisons against a null name. And here we have a name and ID set using the explicit constructor. We'll then print each one of those out just so that we can again see that our objects are instantiated as we expected. And we'll run some null safe equals checks. X is equal to Y should be false. And here what we'll do is we'll do a round robin comparison. We'll take the runner name compared to the 2 swimmer names and then itself to make sure we get a couple falses and a true, even when one of them is null. Then we'll take swimmer name number 1, which is going to be null, and compare that to swimmer 2's name and runner's name just to null. We should get true on null. And here we'll compare swimmer 2's name to runner's name, swimmer's name, and itself to make sure that it's true when it's supposed to be and false when it's not. So let's go ahead and run this and see our conditional operators in action. So there's our 3 printouts to make sure that they're set as expected. We do have names and null. We have IDs for all 3. X is equal to Y is false. Runner name is not swimmer name. Runner name is not swimmer 2 name. Runner name is Tom. Swimmer 1 name is not swimmer 2 name. Swimmer 1 name is not runner name. And swimmer name null is true. So that's working as expected on a null. And swimmer 2's name, of course, is not runner name or swimmer name, but is Jason.